Good day, I am Carl Lawrence Pimisas and today I will be presenting a comprehensive technical glossary covering the critical pillars of international trade and logistics in the Philippines. This presentation integrates technical definition with first-hand observation from our site. Visitation at the Bureau of Customs NAIA Tariff Commission, MSTSI, Subic, and PEZA Baguio. From regulatory frameworks like the CMTA to the precision of good manufacturing practices, let's dive into the language of global commerce. Section 1, Regulatory and Taxation. CMTA RA 10863. The Customs Modernization and Tariff Act, the primary law governing customs procedures in the Philippines. During our visit to BOC, NAIA, we saw how the CMTA streamlines the digitalization of clearance processes. De minimis value. The threshold value currently 10,000 below which no duties or taxes are collected. At the air cargo terminal, we observed how small parcels are categorized to see if they fall under de minimis. HS code. The harmonized system code, a multi-purpose international product nomenclature. At the Tariff Commission, we saw how assigning the correct 6-digit HS code is the foundation for all trade statistics. AHTN, Asian Harmonized Tariff Nomenclature, an 8-digit level of classification used within ASEAN. We learned that while the first 6 digits are global, the AHTN adds 2 digits to further specify goods for the Southeast Asian market. Tariff Classification Ruling, an official document issued by the Tariff Commission confirming the classification of goods. We discussed how importance apply for this ruling to prevent disputes with the BOC regarding duty rates. Lodgement. The electronic submission of the goods declaration through the BOC's computer system. At BOC and NAIA, we saw how brokers perform lodgement remotely, initiating the clearance process before the cargo even lands. Selectivity system, a risk management tool that classifies shipments into color lanes: green, yellow, red, blue. We learned how the system flags high-risk shipments for the red lane, requiring physical examination. Physical examination, the actual opening and inspecting of goods by a customs officer. During the site visit, we observed a red lane shipment undergoing physical examination to verify the contents against the manifest. Non-intrusive inspection, the use of X-ray machines to inspect cargo without opening the container or package. We saw the massive X-ray scanners at the port that allow for high-speed inspection without damaging the goods. Assessment of duties, the process of determining the amount of taxes and duties to be paid based on value and rate. We observed how the appraiser computes the final figures based on the declared CVR, which is Customs Value Range. Airway Bill, or AWB, a document that accompanies goods shipped by an international air carrier that provide detailed information about the shipment. At the NAIA Cargo Terminal, we saw how the AWB serves as the primary contract of carriage and receipt for air freight. Abandoned goods, goods that are not claimed or which duties are not paid within the prescribed period. We learned that goods are deemed abandoned if the entry isn't filed within 15 days, eventually leading to a BOC auction. BOC Port of Entry, a specific location where the Bureau of Customs is authorized to accept entries and collect duties. Visiting NAIA helped us understand its role as a specialized port of entry for high-value, time-sensitive air cargo. IEIRD, which is Import Entry and International Revenue Declaration, the official document used to declare imported goods. We reviewed an IERD at the brokerage office, noting how it summarizes the classification, valuation, and taxes paid. Customs appraiser. The BOC officer are responsible for verifying the classification and valuation of imported goods. We met with an appraiser who explained how they cross-reference declared value with historical data to prevent undervaluation. Anti-dumping duty. A protectionist tariff imposed on foreign imports that are priced below fair market value. The Tariff Commission explained how these duties protect local industries from unfair competition by foreign exporters. Section 2, Logistics and Brokerage Operations. The first one is declarant. Any person who makes a goods declaration or in whose name such a declaration is made. We learned that at NMM brokers, the broker often acts as the declarant on behalf of the importer. Incoterms 2020. International commercial terms that define the responsibilities of buyers and sellers. At NMM Brokers, we discuss how choosing FOB versus CIF changes where the broker's liabilities begins. Bill of lading. A legal document issued by a carrier to a shipper that details the type, quantity, and destination of goods. At MSTSI Subic, we saw how the bill of lading served as a document of little. Without it, the cargo cannot be released. Demurrage. A charge applied by the shipping line when a container is not picked up from the port within a free time. The team at Subic, we emphasize that prompt pickup is vital to avoid daily demurrage penalties that eat into profits. Detention. A fee charged for the late return of an empty container to the shipping line's yard. We learned that difference between demurrage inside the port and detention outside the port during a brokerage briefing. TEU, 20-foot equivalent unit, a standard measure of container capacity. At MSTSI Subic, we saw the massive scale of the yard measuring throughput in thousands of TEUs. Steve Doring. The act of loading or offloading cargo to and from a ship. Standing by the pier at Subic, we watched the stevedores operating the gantry cranes to move containers onto a vessel. RS3. Charges for the handling of cargo on the pier or at the terminal. We saw how RS3 fees cover the labor and equipment used to move goods from ship's side to the storage area. Manifest. A comprehensive list of all cargo on board a vessel or aircraft filed by the carrier. We learned that the manifest must be submitted to BOC electronically before the vessel arrives to allow for advanced risk screening. Freight forwarding. A service that organizes the transport and storage of goods for the importer and exporter. NMM Brokers explains how they coordinate with freight forwarders to bridge that gap between international shipping and local delivery. Supply chain visibility. The ability to track individual components or final products as they travel from supplier to manufacturer to consumer. We saw the software dashboard use logistics firms to provide real-time tracking updates to their clients. Transshipment. The transshipment of goods or container to an intermediate destination then to another destination. We discussed how Subic serves as transshipment hub for goods destined for other parts of Luzon. LCL versus FCL. Less the container load versus full container load. We observed that consolidation area where LCL shipments from different importers are packed together. Giisa lang ako FCL o LCL. Chassis, a specialized trailer used to carry ocean containers over the road. In the yard at MSTSI, we saw rows of chassis waiting to be hooked up to prime movers from trucking operations. Port throughput, the amount of cargo or number of vessels a port handles over a given period. The Port Authority shared data on their annual throughput showing the growth of Subic as major trade gateway. Free port zone, area where goods may be landed, handled, and re-exported. Without intervention of customs authorities, the Subic Bay Freeport Zone visit clarified how goods can enter the zone duty-free as long as they stay within its boundaries. Section 3 Special Economic Zones and Incentives PEZA Baguio. Eco-zones, a selected area operated as a separate customs territory with special incentives. Visiting PEZA Baguio highlighted how the ecozone function as foreign territory for tax purpose. ITH or income tax holiday. A fiscal incentive where registered firms are exempt from paying corporate income tax for a set period, usually 4 to 6 years. During our PEZA Baguio visit, we saw how ITH allows companies to reinvest their initial profit back into their local operations. Cross-border trade. The exchange of goods or services between a firm inside an ecozone and a firm in a foreign country or another zone. We observed that for PEZA firms, shipping to a foreign buyer is treated with minimal red tape compared to the customs territory. Indirect export, the sale of goods by a local supplier to a PEZA registered exporter who then uses those goods for their final export product. We learned that a local packaging company selling to a PEZA firm is performing an indirect export, qualifying them for tax benefits. Zero-rated VAT, a tax incentive where the VAT rate is 0% on local purchases by PEZA registered firms. We saw how the incentive lowers the cost of production for companies operating with the Baguio zone. Customs territory, area where customs laws apply. Ecozones are treated separately. Admission. The official entry of goods into a PEZA zone from a foreign country or the domestic customs territory. We saw the admission process at the gate where documents are checked to ensure the goods are for the registered activity of the firm. PEZA Gate Pass, a document authorizing the movement of goods in or out of the PEZA zone boundaries. We watch the security check where every truck must present a valid PEZA Gate Pass to ensure no unauthorized tax-free goods leave the zone. Constructive exportation. The sale of goods from the customs territory to a PEZA registered enterprise. We learned that selling raw materials to a firm in the ecozone is legally treated as an export. Certificate of origin. A document certifying that a product was manufactured in the Philippines used to claim lower tariffs in the destination country. The PEZA officers explained how they issued these certificates to help firms take advantage of free trade agreements. Surety bond, a shall guarantee from insurance companies ensuring that duty and taxes will be paid if the firm fails to meet its obligations. We learned that firms use surety bonds as a safety net for the government, allowing them to move goods quickly without upfront cash payment. Section 4 Operation and Quality Standard Good Manufacturing. GMP Good Manufacturing Practice. System ensuring products are consistently produced to quality standard at the manufacturing site. The strict gowning and sanitation protocols we followed were a direct application of GMP. Quality Assurance or QA. The process-oriented part of quality management, preventing defects by focusing on how a product is made. A good manufacturing QA was evident in the strict standard operating procedures posted at every workstation. Quality control or QC. The product-oriented part of quality management, identifying defects in the finished goods through testing. We saw the QC lab where random samples from the assembly line were tested to ensure they met the final specification. Lead time. The total time from the moment an order is placed until the goods are received and ready for use. The manager explained how they track supplier lead time to ensure they never run out raw materials for the production line. Inventory management. The process of ordering, storing, and using a company's inventory, raw materials, components, and finished products. We observed the warehouse layout, which was organized using systems to track stock levels and prevent overstocking. Just in time, or JIT, a lean logic that aims to have only the right amount of materials arrive at the exact time it is needed for production. The facility operated on JIT, meaning they don't keep huge piles of waste materials arrive just at the previous batch is finished. That's all. Thank you.